expect a bingo for him pretty quick here.
Ori Swift just had a huge win, 462 to 291 against Rafi Stern. And in that David Gibson game, the big buzz at lunch, Jesse, was Joel's play of kayak.
Yes. Yes, there are some people who disagreed with the play, but obviously liked the style points aspect of it. It's definitely generated some conversation
Absolutely.
last little while here.
We'll also be giving you updates on the Collins game. We have young master Matthew O'Connor, a 18-year-old who got his father into the game, whose father doesn't want to play, so he's actually one of our directors, Kieran. And Matthew O'Connor is an 18-year-old. He's a wonderful young man and excellent player of the game, and even though he's pretty new to Scrabble, decided to take on Collins. So he'll be playing Mr. Eldar. And that game hasn't started yet.
Ori made the opening play of EME with QEN blank left over on his rack, so decluttering there considerably and not looking bad as soon as he can unload that Q. Meanwhile, David Gibson is just really picking which of his bingo options he prefers here.
Yeah. How many times have we said that today? I hope everybody's enjoying the setup this year. We've taken a few years to get it right, but I think we got it right. You can see the tiles, you can see the time, and you can see the players.
So this play from David Gibson will put him ahead early in the game here. For any of you just joining, especially for Ori's friends from Magic the Gathering who are joining us for the first time to watch Scrabble, what David Gibson just did is what we call bingoing. That's when you unload all 7 of the letters on your rack to make one word. You get a bonus 50 points for that on top of whatever you score normally, so it's kind of the holy grail of Scrabble whenever you can do that. And with Ori's letters, the good news is that he is close to being able to do that. Cannot this turn, but he should be able to, assuming he draws reasonably well after his play this turn.
I think it's fairly clear that he's going to probably want to play Kadi or Cade through the A and renails to get rid of the Q and to undouble his Ds, and that he has that on the side. The question is, does he play Kadi, which is a bit more volatile, making it easier to bingo off that I, or does he play Cade? I think that's really his biggest dilemma right now. He could just dump the Q for 11 points, QI on renails, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, he has a very nice D hook for Ram. He can play Dram. So keeping an ED for a past tense bingo seems to make a lot of sense too.
So he's opted for Kadi over Cade.
He's got the blank, it makes sense. He's more likely to bingo.
More consonants that hook off of that I as opposed to vowels off of the D as one possible line of reasoning for that.
And also no point putting a vowel next to the double letter. Not that there's, I don't know what you could really do with that, but like if, I don't know. But. Oh, he picked another D up. How do you like that?
Well, he would have darnder with the right letter on the board. Darnder. I think dernder actually works as well.
But he would only have 8s. Dernder and darnder, and of course rendered. So he's going to have to rely on a bit of help.
So David Gibson's considering a play of Weir and Nay, Rami and Ewer, which certainly scores a bit.
He also has wavies and waviest if he really wants to get rid of the everything in one shot and start going for the blanks. I kind of like that. I like waviest.
He's also looking at wire and leaving himself. He has a T, of course, to play newt the next turn, but just to clutter that up a little bit, it looks like.
Where is he looking to play wire, do you think?
New, wire, rummy, and ewer.
Oh, that's actually quite cute. Interestingly, Quackle doesn't even come up with it.
I think this falls under the line of a more Gibson-type play that I'm not
Absolutely.
sure really anyone else would make.
Absolutely.
And this is where we get to talk a little bit about what makes his game different from some of the other ones, because I would say that I would dare say almost no one would consider making that play. Not that it's wrong, it's just a play that works more with his goals for what he wants to do with the Scrabble board.
Well, one thing we do in Scrabble is we attach a value to each of the tiles and what's worth playing and what's worth keeping on your rack. And definitely keeping a V on your rack actually devalues your play. Which is why wavies and waviest and stuff like that came up a lot in the Quackle analysis, and why wire did not show up at all. And he's going to pay the price a little bit, I think, but nothing terrible that he can't play himself out of. Just Taj alone would be quite easy. Whereas Ori, on the other hand, wants to obviously undouble the D and undouble the R. He hasn't given him a very easy way to do that.
He has Nerd, which is kind of fitting for all of us as an option down from the I and Kadi.
Yeah.
He's even got Dr. Nerd on his rack, in fact, and I believe he actually has gotten his PhD, so he would be Dr. Nerd here, truly.
All right, so I don't know if Marlon Hill is known to the Twitch TV people, but there was a comment made at lunch that we're just waiting for Marlon to weigh in on Joel's play of kayak in the previous game. And Marlon has, in fact, responded. Marlon is a very beloved and outspoken Scrabble player who has no compunction about speaking his mind. And he wrote, I'm going to translate from Ebonics, which he tends to write in. When the tourney is over, somebody please, in big letters, ask Joel what, vanity aside, was he doing with kayak, question mark. So nobody's quite understanding it. We need to talk to Joel soon. Remedied is coming through as a play for this rack.
Remedied is pretty cute.
Very, very cute through the EME.
He's gone with Nerd. Certainly reasonable.
He's lost his need for that D in terms of dram, because that's gone. He's played Nerd. He's opening the board.
Remedied would keep the board locked in a way that Gibson does like, so it's possible he even saw it, but that would favor Gibson's playing style. So I think Nerd's pretty wise here. It doesn't get shut down that easily.
And he's kept himself a D to hook onto EN to make end.
Yeah.
And there we go. So he should have no trouble bingoing with that. Now Vat is looking to come down under Newt. I think David, here's a very typical David play. He's going to play Vat and Newt, and that takes out a good chunk of that line that Ori just created for himself with Nerd. And let's see what our he might have a little bit. Oh, he's got bravados. So beautiful thing that David does, and it worked out that if Ori does see bravados, it forces him to open up the triple lane and put the S there.
So David Gibson's lined up Juby. It's kind of cute there. Juvie, I would say, is the one he's looking for there.
Do you see anything else, Jesse? I'm not seeing anything personally.
Aside from bravados, nothing pops out at me instantly.
It's the only. The only 7 is Parados, I believe.
Well, then Sna and Parados would go down for sure.
Oh, there you go. Sna and Parados. That's a much better play. Now try doing that while everybody's watching you, and while you're in contention for a major championship.
Yeah. Oh, he's taking his time. Certainly. Probably rifling through each of the options.
Absolutely. The good news is these are very common tiles, and these are racks that he will have studied.
And Aaron, just to answer your question about what they're doing, the long words list, there used to be a separate list. There was a long words list in North America and then a shorter one, and both books were used separately to adjudicate depending on the length of the word. But long story short, there's now one source, but when the TWL dictionary was updated several years ago, they failed to add words of a certain length, and they were all longer words. So this mini update on September the 1st is to remedy that. So the longer words, which usually don't come up, but all the same they can, are being added to the TWL tournament lexicon. So all the words are officially up to date as of September the 1st.
And as a person who studies the 9 through 14s every single day, I say thank you for those new words.
Mm.
But I might be in a very small minority. We have seen a couple. I was doing the written commentary all week, and I saw some lovely plays through OWE. I saw Unshowered, which is only good in Collins, and played by a Collins player, thank God, for a double-double, which was lovely. And I saw, and this was the best, through SHO. SHO is a word that's been added just a couple of years ago. Show. Somebody took away that sound of the SHO and played dishonesty, making the blank a Y and the blank a D, I think. That was an absolutely stunning play.
Beautiful play.
Yeah, I think it was the first game of the tournament, and for me it stood up as still the most beautiful play I've seen. But mind you, I haven't seen every play, so. And then our beloved Chris Cree through BI played Cabinetry.
That's very nice.
Always have to keep your mind open to what's on the board and what could be played, even through discontiguous or tiles that are not next to each other. Always keep your mind open to what could be out there.
Or he hasn't even touched his rack at this point in time. He's just got his writing apparatus in hand.
His writing apparatus?
What we also
Pen?
call a pen or a pencil, but I couldn't tell exactly which one it was. Plus his board.
Soon we'll, or just like our kids are going like a record player. Soon we're going to go pen.
Pretty much.
All right, you can do it, Ori. Hopefully we'll get a clock up at some point.
And the really good thing with Parados is that it opens the board up in a way that is counter to Gibson's style. But I think he's just going with bravados, which is, it's still a good play because it opens the board up some. But
yeah, but now he's going to get he's going to get jubes down too.
He's going to get jubed. Well, jubes is the play, but sometimes for fun when we are talking about a play that someone has made that hurts, we'll just verbize it more or less and just say they got jubed in this case.
But that just tells you how in Scrabble, how you can't afford to make mistakes, certainly at the top tables. Not finding Parados, playing this instead, is going to hurt him a great deal. And it seems like it's just a small thing early on in the game, but it can come to bite you for the rest of the tournament.
Just to answer a question in the chat there. The TWL update and correction is relevant. Of course, the printed version for people who want a book in hand for word judging, but all of the individual lists that people have in software on their phones to check word validity, and even for Quackle when considering plays, all those lists needs to be updated with the new words as well, so that all plays can be evaluated correctly.
All right, so now I'm seeing how rend is also going to hurt Ori, in that he had Sinology, I believe, off the S that no longer fits. If he had played nerd down Kadi, he did the right, he did a smart thing in terms of creating a D hook for himself. And it's unfortunate. I see wooingly. Through an eye, oyanology.